What's good, everyone? It's BBK Dragoon, and here are my top tips for Trials of Osiris to have a better experience and maybe get to Mercury. First of all, single picks only matter if you take advantage of them. A pick is a kill. If you kill an opponent and you don't take an advantage from that, you're not doing any good for you or your teammates. If you kill an opponent and you don't compress in on the enemy or relocate to put more pressure on them so they can't get the easy revive, you've really done nothing. When you get a kill in Trials of Osiris, your team needs to take this as a cue to move together to either prevent the revive or take a secure place on the map that's going to give you an advantage. So if you're just doing single picks and not following up, you're wasting a lot of the advantages you could have. Communication is everything. Team pressure is everything. Moving as a team requires you to communicate clearly with your team what you're doing and when you're doing it. If you're going to pop a super, if you're going to take the flank, if you're pushing in on them to engage right now, or if that guy's down and he's getting revived, every bit and detail needs to be conveyed to your teammates. That way you can move as a unit. The most powerful thing in Trials of Osiris is a well-coordinated team. It's not a guy who's got the best thorn aim in the world. Rather, it's a team who moves and works together as a unit. Overwhelming opponents is extremely powerful, and it's a huge element of good Trials teams. Taking advantage of your opponent as they're off guard, moving together, and flanking as a team is huge. So the more you communicate, the better. Have more than 2 strategies for each side of the map. Make sure your squad knows what they are before you go in. This one is huge. I see so many players who just stay in the spawn or do the same strategy over and over again. That's going to get you killed more often than not. So have 2 strategies before you even enter in the map. Speak with your team before you're queuing up. This is the map. This is what we're going to do if we spawn top, and this is what we're going to do if we spawn bottom. When we spawn bottom on Widow's Court, we'd run left 2 times and trying to push their left flank. And then on the 3rd round, we would push over to the far right to try and throw them off guard. 9 times out of 10, the opponents will think, hey, they're going to go left again. And then you flank them right and they're caught off guard. Don't be predictable. If you're playing Counter-Strike on Dust 2, you and your team wouldn't rush A every single round, would you? No, you would have multiple strategies. A 2-1 split is something that's really strong in Trials. It means you send 2 people one direction and another one to the flank. So you're basically splitting the enemy's resources. They have to decide, are they going to allocate 2 people to this sight line and another guy to this sight line, and how do they split that up? The radar is ambiguous enough that it doesn't show if 2 players are coming from the right and one's coming from the left. Use this to your advantage, but make sure that you're within revive distance. If you've got another teammate on the other side of the map in a completely different area code and he goes down, getting that revive is going to be really, really hard. Practice sniping. It's one of the most powerful PvP weapons in Destiny, and of course this is map and playstyle dependent. If you have the accuracy to back it up, the sniper is incredibly strong in Trials. Again, this goes back to my original tip. Single picks only matter if you take an advantage from it. If you get a snipe on an opponent and your team doesn't relocate to apply further pressure on the enemy, you've really done no good. You've given them a free revive, and yes, it's going to be longer for that opponent to get revived again if you kill him again, but honestly, make use of your picks. Try not to just kill them and sit and wait for them to get the revive. Stay calm when you're the last player alive. Breathe. Watch the radar and don't second guess yourself. Do something. Don't do nothing. If you are somebody who is the last Guardian alive and you just sit in your spawn and don't do anything, you're going to have a hard time. Don't do that. Make a plan and pick it, stick to it, and follow through. It's better to do something, even if it's wrong, than to just sit in your spawn and do nothing. If you allow yourself to be a reactionary player, that's understandable. I get it. You want to make plays based off the opponent, but don't allow the fear of being the last man standing to just cause you to freeze. Doing something is far more important than doing nothing because it causes your opponent to have to react to you. It throws your opponent off guard. Try not to waste supers on heavy rounds, and try not to waste supers in general. You'd be surprised how many warlocks I've seen self-res on a heavy round only to get shot with another rocket and die instantly. You're only going to get about 1 to 2 supers during a Trials match, so use them wisely. Team morale is crucial. You're playing for the win, not Mercury. What that means is, every game you enter, that's all your focus is on. You're not thinking of Mercury at the end, you're just thinking about winning this particular match that you're playing right now. Don't allow tilt. What can happen is, as soon as people lose Mercy and they've lost their second game, they know that Mercury is no longer available to them, the morale usually plummets in all squads. People get quiet, they get timid, they just don't want to play, they get angry at everything. Your play gets bad. You allow the emotions to cloud your judgment. It's a chemical reaction that happens in your brain. When emotions flood you, it's harder to make clear, concise choices. Try not to let this happen. Brush off losses. Continue talking to your teammates. Try and keep it an upbeat atmosphere. Losing your Mercury run stinks, but it doesn't mean that you have to give up on getting 8 wins for that Brother Vance package. Play trials to improve at trials. It sounds simple, but the more trials you're going to play, the better you're going to get at the format, the better you're going to understand the map, and the more experience you're going to have in this playlist. It's going to make you a better player. Don't let anxiety stop you from playing trials. I know plenty of people who don't even venture in here anymore because they're like, well, if I can't get Mercury, there's no reason to do it. And there's a lot of good teams in here. Look, man, I have had my face stomped in by some pretty good Xbox streamers, as well as some like old Halo pros playing Destiny. And look, those games stink. It's a bummer losing to people in trials when you're on that run. But the more you play, the more humbled I get when I play a really good team, the more I learn from them. So don't let anxiety stop you from playing. If at all possible, please don't LFG this activity. This is something you want to have friends who you can play with. Because, I mean, look, we've all gotten salty. We've all had trials runs that end because somebody drops the ball. And that's going to happen. You're going to have somebody, and it could be you, who drops the ball. And that's not, a reason to flame somebody else. You don't want to ruin the teamwork, the team atmosphere, because losses do happen. But with randoms, if you're playing LFG, the toxicity can go through the roof. My last tip here is to practice skirmish and salvage if trials is not available. Those are fun playlists to warm up, actually, for your trials run in general. I hope these tips helped. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please let me know with a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If there's any trials tips that I didn't cover here that you think would be a benefit, share them down below in the comments. Good luck on your trials run. I hope you get to Mercury, and I'll see you next time. PvP Dragoon is out.